Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address. Bear with me here, I'm writing it down. Alright, 1546 Southeast 52nd Avenue here in Hillsboro. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front door of the house, or the front of the house in general. We are off to the left of the door. We're sitting about, 3-4 feet in from the front left corner of the house. We've got a 4-inch ABS cleanout. And the homeowner here was kind and smart enough to put a little marking on top of this thing so it's easy to find. I'm going to put it back the way I found it. This big old chunk of concrete. It's like a little piece of a pylon or a footing there. So anyway, clean out. There's your front left corner. There's your clean out. It's just barely into the little gravel planter area. We're going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero the foot counter out here at the base of the clean out. Off we go. A little teeny tiny bit of standing water there right out of the gate. Very, very minor. That's going to drain out to about a 1 to 2 foot long belly with maybe a 1/16 of an inch of standing water, maybe as much as a 1/4 inch. That's a belly hardly even worth talking about. Nice clean flow line. Hardly any grease buildup to speak of. I am a stickler on grease buildup. It is in a lot of cases, I'm more concerned about grease buildup than I am a lot of structural issues. You take that little tiny belly, for instance. That belly is rinky-dink pretty much in every scenario out there. But for instance, if you put a lot of grease down your line, grease will build up just about everywhere, but it likes to do so extra spectacularly in standing water because it cools down and it floats to the top of the water and starts sticking to the sidewalls. So grease buildup can end up doing is exacerbating minor, even fairly significant structural issues into real problems. So I like to point it out when a house is doing things right. There's a little tiny bit of grease. That's kind of that tan brownish stuff you see in the flow line. Relative to most homes, this is a very, very clean line. All right, making a transition up ahead here to 6-inch concrete. You know, I imagine I'm just about there. Maybe one more flush, and that'll probably do the job. Oh, there's the main there. Cool. All right, we got one more toilet flush coming down line, as I'm sure you just heard there. All right, we're going to go locate really quick here while the line drains out, just to find out where the line terminates at, and then we'll pull back in here, take another look. All right, I just located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southeast 52nd Avenue. As you stand looking at the house, facing the front door from the street, line cuts from the front left corner of the house over towards the driveway. If you know what a driveway skirt is, that's where your the driveway kind of flares out right before it hits the street. The line crosses a curb right at the front left corner of that skirt, basically where the driveway skirt meets the sidewalk. I'll do a little diagram. If the line does get under the driveway at all, it's very, very little of it. It would be running just barely underneath the left side edge. May run adjacent to the driveway until hitting going underneath the skirt. So in this part of town too, generally speaking, the homeowner's responsible all the way into the roadway. The concrete pipe there functions very nicely, great slope and grade, clean, nicely functioning piece of pipe. It behooves you nowadays to keep an eye on these older lines, or not. I wouldn't call this an ancient line. It's an older line, mostly the concrete pipe. Don't need to lose sleep over it, but it's a good idea to rescope the line about every 3 years is a good span of time to watch as the line ages. If you start to see the line settling at all, everything has a finite lifespan. if you start to see the line settling due to the, pipe joints wearing out, something like that. And this is generally speaking looking down the road a ways for a line of this age. But with trenchless repair systems now, you can update all that pipe under the road without digging. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on them. Every few years is a good span of time. If you start seeing any signs of settling taking place, anything like that, it's when you want to start to consider that type of update so you can save a bunch of money. I don't foresee that being any time here in the next few years. That's looking down the road. That's if you're living here long enough to see that pipe get updated there. Alright, we're going through the world's tiniest belly here. So the standing water dissipates off at about, it's close enough to 6 feet. We're going to call it 6 feet. I think it's hardly even distinguishable from the flow line. It's so tiny. You might have a 32nd of an inch of standing water there. And then right here as we go backwards, the line hits a reduce. I'm not going to beat the camera up trying to get over the top of it. I can see back through there well enough to see there's no standing water. We're hitting a 3-inch reducer right as we go back. It's very awkward for the camera to plop over that. I can see over it well enough to see that there's no grade problems going back through the foundation wall. Good looking line, good flow end to end. All the pipe here. You can hardly even call that standing water. That drained out even better than I thought it was going to. There's almost nothing there to speak of. It's about a 32nd of an inch for about a few feet. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.